Will the Trump-Harris debate ever happen? Harris is ready, but Trump has some reservations.
Well, they're going to say you're afraid of debating her. That's what they're going to say.
Well, they said that with Biden, too. You know, I was afraid. I did great with Biden, and I did great in every debate. I've had a lot of debates.
But you're winning on all the issues,
But, you know, I'm leading in the polls by, I think, a lot. I don't know. I hear different numbers. But I'm leading in all of the polls. I'm leading big in all of the swing states.
Kamala Harris responded on X saying, quote, "It's interesting how, quote, anytime, any place becomes, quote, one specific time, one specific safe space. I'll be there on September 10th, like he agreed to. I hope to see him there."
The presidential debate is currently scheduled to take place on September 10th on ABC, but Trump says that he doesn't want to debate Harris. First, he didn't want to debate her because she wasn't the official nominee. By the way, the first debate took place before he was the official nominee for the Republican Party. Then he said he'd do it, but on a different day on a different network. Shockingly, he said that he would be more comfortable if Fox News hosted the debate, and he has been demonizing ABC for weeks in the press, presumably to build up a case to convince his supporters that ABC is fake news.
Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network.
In a post on Truth Social, he said that debating Harris on ABC would be a conflict of interest for him since he's currently suing the network and its host, George Stephanopoulos. Stephanopoulos, by the way, is not involved in the September 10th debate, and Trump originally agreed to the ABC debate after he had already been legally involved with the network. It wasn't a conflict of interest back then for some reason. He's also trying to say that he doesn't actually need to debate Kamala Harris because he's already leading in the polls. Now, first of all, he's not leading in the polls. Harris has leveled the playing field and her poll numbers continue to climb. Trump knows this. But you all know that I don't watch debates unless I have to, and with this job, a lot of times I have to. But in this modern day, I wonder if debates are as necessary as they used to be. And the reason is basically what Trump said. Everybody knows the candidates. We know more or less what they'll say. We see their posts on social media. We see them on the news. We follow them on their campaign trails, etc. That said, debates can still be helpful in that they give candidates opportunities to respond directly and in real time to criticism lobbed against them. And they're able to clarify their positions to a rapt audience, but more often than not, they devolve into some kind of chaos that is more stressful and confusing for people in the audience than it is elucidating. However, I would expect that people, including myself, are interested to see Harris debate Trump because we don't see or hear her speak as often as we hear and see him speak. And we haven't seen her on a stage with him before. She's a brand new presidential candidate. It would certainly be helpful for voters to hear what she has to say about what a Harris presidency would look like. But for him, he hasn't said anything new since 2015. The more shocking things he says these days are just more boldly and or more irresponsibly worded repackagings of his same old ideas and plans.
Did you see her the other night? They put a camera in her face. She can't even talk. We just went through 4 years. Let's not go through another 4 years. We've endorsed JP, right? J.D. Mandel. Joe Biden won against Barack Hussein Obama. Has anyone ever heard of him? Barack Hussein Obama. Or think of it, a new branch of the United States military, United States Armed Forces, called Air Force. I never talked about that. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. The worst president by far. Jimmy Connors is...
We get it. We get Trump. He's a largely incoherent old man who is desperate for power and has zero compassion or respect for anyone who is not a rich white man. He's boring. And if and when the debate between Trump and Harris ever happens, people won't be tuning in to see him. And perhaps he knows that. And if he knows that, perhaps he hates that. Trump at this point isn't winning supporters. People already know his positions on things, and they know who he is as a person and how he is as a president. Harris, meanwhile, is gaining supporters left and right. She's bringing in millions of dollars in donations from a diverse group of people, and many of those millions are coming in not from big dollar donors, they're coming in from a giant pool of smaller donors. Trump is leading in the polls? No, he's not. He is losing ground and losing it quickly. His old tricks aren't working like they used to. In fact, they're finally being used against him, with the Harris campaign calling him weird so many times that he has to go on a media blitz to tell people how not weird he is. But listen to what he says later in that Fox News interview.
And you know what they do? They just say it, and they keep saying it, saying it. The press helps them as much as possible, but they say very strongly, we had a great border. And people say, you know, it's funny, you say it enough times and people start to believe it too. That's the scary part.
He said if you say something enough times, then people will start to believe it, and that's a scary thing, according to him. But that is exactly what Trump does, and that's exactly why his supporters believe so many things that have been repeatedly disproven and debunked. It's exhausting for the other side to constantly have to correct him and his very vocal supporters. They have been fighting a war of attrition this whole time in the hopes that Trump critics will just give up on the incessant fact-checking, turn off the news, and let him indoctrinate our countrymen with actual fake news and disinformation. The Harris campaign said that they would consider the Fox News debate if Trump sticks to the original ABC debate on September 10th, so we'll see what happens. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe for more. Thanks.